Buenos dias a todos, bienvenidos, assalamu alaikum. Good morning, BCC. We are truly so excited to be here. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I'm so grateful that we are here to rejoice in this beautiful Friday morning. Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, today represents a culmination of your commitment, consistency, your dedication, your hard work, your efforts, your resilience, your tenacity, your strength. Today we celebrate you, your achievements, your accomplishments, how hard you have worked on this journey. We are so proud to be here with all of you. As your Bronx Borough President, let me tell you that it gives me great pleasure and privilege to represent the great borough of the boogie down Bronx. I realize every day that I wake up on purpose with a purpose. I realize the assignment that I have been given in life to make a difference in the lives of 1.5 million residents that live in the Bronx and work in this borough and dedicate their lives to making the Bronx the very best. I realize every day that I am my ancestors' wildest dreams and all of their hopes and all of their aspirations. As a first myself, I am proud to stand before you as the 14th Bronx Borough President, the first ever African American and female to serve in this role. And while it is such an honor, graduates, to say that, let me tell you that while I am the first, I will not be the last. I need all of you to understand that while we are the first, we have to make sure that we are truly not the last. We have to make sure that we leave behind a legacy and we set footprints in history for others to follow. We realize that your journey here at BCC may not have been the easiest, but you have shown your resilience and you have shown your strength. You have shown that many times people can knock you down, but you always get back up. You have shown that sometimes folks can count you out. But let me tell you that when folks count you out, you have to count yourself in, because you are a winner and you represent greatness. You are our beacon of hope for a better tomorrow. You are the stars that shine bright. We want to make sure in all of this work, we raise the standard so high that failure is never an option. I need you to understand that the challenges you have faced, the hurdles, the obstacles, the setbacks you have been confronted with have truly been your preparation for a comeback. The Bronx is ready for a comeback moment. I am here to make sure that we do this work with intention and with purpose. We want to make sure that the Bronx is the very best, because that's what we represent. The birthplace of hip-hop, the home of salsa, the greenest borough. We are a borough of destination. We are a borough of tourism and economic development and economic prosperity. We want pathways to the middle class, pathways to college and careers for every young person. We want to make sure that our young people in this borough understand and know that no matter what, your block does not block your blessing, and your zip code does not deny your destiny. Graduates, you are in charge of your destiny. You are in charge of your assignment. You are in charge of your purpose. Don't let anyone define your narrative. Be authentically you, no matter what. Be unapologetic about who you are and how much you have accomplished, because there's nothing greater than we can ever invest in than education. It is the bedrock of our society. It is the pathway and the gateway to a better tomorrow. We believe in education. We believe in institutions of higher education like BCC. I am a friend to this college. I have been here every year, and I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk. So I can tell you, graduates, that every year I've been proud to join with Councilmember Fiorina Sanchez, investing $1 million in BCC every year, from the renovations at Gould Memorial Library to the Early Child Care Center to the Roscoe Brown Student Center to the library. We are doing it all. And guess what? We're not stopping. The budget that we will adopt in June, we have another $1 million for Ohio Fields. Not playing. Talk the talk and be about this work. So I am excited for your future. We expect greatness because at BCC, we have invested in all of you. We have given you the experience, the skills, the knowledge, the wisdom, the courage, the strength. We have given you all the tools that you need to be successful leaders. So I want you to hold your head up high and be proud of how far you have come. There will never be another class of 2024 at BCC. You are it. You are setting your footprints in history for others to follow. You are ambitious. You are bold. You are courageous. You are determined. You are driven. You are exceptional. You are fearless in this work. So I want all of you, graduates, to embrace your future. Embrace the doors of opportunities that will open for you. As I can stand before you as a first, you can truly do the same. And every day when I walk in my office at Bronx Borough Hall and I see a wall of all of my predecessors and I see my picture on a separate wall, some people ask why I'm on a separate wall. And I always say for two reasons. First reason, I earned my right to be on my own wall. I've done the work, and I want to make sure that my work speaks for itself. And the second reason is the wall that my picture is on has space so that someone can follow me as the next Bronx Borough president. Legacy. So we are so proud of you. And to all of our family members, our parents and loved ones and guardians, thank you for standing at your graduates' side. Continue to be their champions, their number one supporters. Continue to love them, encourage them, motivate them, pray for them. Because the world out there will sometimes judge you by what you look like and the way that you are dressed. But when you walk into spaces that are not designed for you, understand that you belong in that space. We got to shake things up. We have to make people feel uncomfortable. That's how you get transformative change. So class of 2024, be encouraged. Be proud of who you are. You have earned your moment and your right in the history of Bronx Community College. We are excited at your futures because we know that your futures are bright and we are here with you every step of the way. Congratulations, graduates, class of 2024. Felicidades a todos, que Dios te bendiga. Congratulations, BCC! Yeah!
This is a day to be proud. You ventured on a unique and satisfying journey, creating your own path. This journey has equipped you with tools that you'll use to understand, serve, and lead, and develop solutions in innovative ways. You'll bring a unique touch to everything you do. I'm truly humbled to share this special moment with you today and be here with the CUNY BA. When I graduated from the program, I knew I was given keys to my next step. Today, you're receiving keys of your own. These keys will unlock doors to new paths leading to your destination and help guide others along their way. You've climbed the mountain and you've reached its plateau. Take a moment to breathe it in. More paths and mountains await. I want you to know that you're well prepared for it. As Emma mentioned, every student has a unique background that led them to the CUNY BA. I entered into the CUNY BA because of academic crossroads. I was confronted between deciding between art and science when it was time to apply for college. And a few colleges offered a combined major. I had a good reason to pursue a safer path, but I chose one that allowed me to keep my passions. That decision led me to the field of medical illustration, which is a field that combines them. And as a professional medical illustrator, I use art in the concept of science, medicine, and technology to present information, knowledge, and education to a diverse range of individuals. When I found out about the CUNY BA program, I didn't hesitate to apply. Being able to custom design my own major to fit a need that I personally found and educationally satisfying was a huge advantage to me. While joining the CUNY BA came with these special perks, the path of designing your major did come with challenges. New challenges such as the process of securing seats and designing your major, the process of navigating the e-permit process, increased commuting, and adjusting to multiple learning environments and teaching styles. They added elevation to your climb, but you're finally taking the courses you wanted. And once you got used to the process, your endurance threshold increased and you grew. You stuck with it, you adjusted, and you kept on your path, and now you're here. As you move forward, remember how you got here today. A couple times it was mentioned, reflect on your families. That's a huge thing. Remember your families, your friends, and your extended academic families as well. Reflect on your personal characteristics you displayed as you faced challenges you overcame. Also, reflect on the characteristics of resilience, proactiveness, your work ethic, your self-discipline, leadership, and commitment to get you to this stage. They've been conditioned, and they'll be at your service when the time comes. I want to share some aspects of my own journey post-graduation, hoping that my experiences from the CUNY BA to today will serve as small beacons to you as you navigate your own paths ahead. On my path, I learned that sometimes you don't always arrive at your destinations the way you expect. However, as long as you remain focused and continue following the trail forward, your goal or your purpose to your path ahead will align to you. After my CUNY BA graduation, the plan was to go straight to grad school, but certain circumstances delayed my application for a few years. I took a detour, worked, attended art school to sharpen my skills. This added 3 journeys to my destination, and that required further discipline and patience. During that time, the main characteristics that got me through were persistence and focus. And I continued to work hard, not focusing on the immediate rewards, but focusing on sticking to the plan and staying on my own path. Sometimes it didn't seem like much was happening, which would scare me a little bit, but I was on my own plateau of latent potential, if you've heard of that, where your efforts are building up in a less visible way, but things are happening in the background, and only if you stick with it, you'll see those realized. After a year after art school, I applied to grad school, and my persistence, hard work, and patience paid off. It led me to grad school to study medical illustration at Hopkins at the School of Medicine, which is the world's first and oldest program. And when I graduated, I became less than 2,000 professionals worldwide, and I've been blending art and science professionally ever since, especially from my unique perspective. Grad school called upon the same resilience, proactiveness, and work ethic and self-discipline and commitment that the CUNY BA required. The level of challenge was just a little bit greater, but I was prepared for it. And just like you made it here today, I made it through those challenges alive and well, and so will you on your next steps forward. Following my passions and sticking with it throughout the CUNY BA and beyond has been key to accomplishing significant milestones that align with my goals. These accomplishments include going to my dream school and becoming a published medical illustrator and author. The best part is that I'm in my passion field, using the same skills I began to develop since childhood, and the CUNY BA and the experiences I had here were vital in not only merging my passions academically, but providing the experiences that prepared me for the next phases of the journey. Now that I've shared these aspects of my journey with you, I would like to impart some advice as you move forward. And so, as I thought about my sentiments to say to you today, I asked myself, what would I have liked to hear on graduation day if I were visited by my 10 years version from now of myself? What would this future version say? So I think this person would say that I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud of you all. You've hit a huge milestone, and you should be very proud of yourself. You're ready for more of life's challenges, and your dreams are soon to come. You stepped out of the traditional CUNY curriculum into the CUNY BA, designing your unique academic experience and shaping yourself into a custom instrument, an instrument intended to serve a unique purpose. You exhibited self-discipline, self-direction, and self-confidence, and you pushed your mental stamina to its limits. When you decided to follow the path you created. You've proven you can trust your lead, and you'll need that instinct in the next phases of your journey. With the education and experiences you've gained, you're well equipped for tomorrow, and you're going to contribute to building a better world through your chosen field. If there's one thing I'd like for you to remember out of all of this, it would be these words: it can happen. I'm privileged to belong to a group who've chosen their passions. Following mine has been one of the greatest accomplishments and joys in my life. And the CUNY BA was a workshop where I was able to forge my passions together and equip skills that I would need to venture forward. Let your CUNY BA experience, along with the other experiences you've collected, including your passions and your goals, be the light to your torch as you step into your future. What you mustered up to accomplish, the milestones we celebrate today, it's proof that you have what it takes. So I want you to believe that and know that. Don't focus on the length of your journey or the difficulty in getting there. Just keep your eyes on the prize, and just like you did here, you will reach the finish line. In closing, remember that your challenges are not just obstacles, but opportunities that sharpen you for your steps to come. You have what it takes. Take care of yourselves along the way and stay healthy. And lastly, I want you to have faith. It's going to be a long road. And so faith is the substance of things that you hope for and the evidence of things that you don't see at the moment. So to the class of 2024, go out there and make your mark. Congratulations to you. Thank you.
Look, I'm so thankful to this particular college for this because it has one of the most diverse student bodies in the country. It's one of the highest concentrations of first-generation graduates in the country, and because of you, because I know that if you graduated from high school in 2020, yikes, you've been through a lot, more than I've been through, in maybe 3 times, in some cases, as much of a lifetime. So congratulations for getting here. But truth be told, nothing has been very normal for quite some time now. And I'm not just talking about the pandemic. Take a deep breath. On the best day, It can be hard to navigate this very disrupted world we're currently inhabiting. And while political discourse has always been rough and contentious, I don't think it's ever been more rough and contentious than it is today. For years now, I've been consciously cultivating dialogue with some of the people most adamantly committed to a kind of politics that I frankly abhor with all of my heart. But let me tell you, that is hard to do. But I also believe, deep in my heart, that while I don't have to like everyone I meet, I do have to love them. I want you to notice that I use the word dialogue, not argument, and the difference is everything. No argument, especially when conducted in anger, has ever changed a single mind. I do this weird work because I was raised in a somewhat political household, and when I left home, I became a somewhat political person, but in the opposite direction. And I argued with my parents constantly, and it was kind of awful. I don't know if you do that too. I mean, I loved my parents, but we fought viciously. And everyone walked away from those arguments angry and feeling like they lost. Do you know what? That's not a relationship. That's a standoff. Then one day, I decided to try something really radical. I asked a question. And then, even crazier, I listened to the answer. That might sound a little silly, but when I started asking questions and reminding myself that I love these people, I began to care more about them than about mic drops and scoring points. And that's how I began to develop a skill that I call political bilingualism. So here's what I've learned. There are two types of people in the world: people who think there are only two types of people in the world, and then people who know that it's way, way more complicated and unpredictable than that. There are tons and tons and tons of ways to divide the world into two camps: good and bad, them and us, black and white. But I want you to go and have a look at a black and white photograph someday, and you will be amazed at how little of it is actually black or white. The only thing that makes that picture legible to you or me is the thousands of shades of gray that make it come true. The same goes for left and right, many Americans' favorite way of dividing people up into two camps. But the truth is, the very idea of a left and a right is just a metaphor. And a metaphor, if you don't take it apart, is like a prison for your brain. Left and right assumes that the spectrum of opinion exists in two dimensions. But we don't live in two dimensions. We live in three, and if you believe in Einstein, you live in four. I don't call what I do bipartisan because the prefix bi means two. I call what I do metapartisan because the prefix meta means beyond and above. And let me tell you, there is so much more room to navigate in the space above politics than there is in the space where everyone's just screaming at each other. If you simply stop yelling long enough to listen, you will find that you are capable of empathy and even love for someone who holds an opinion with which you violently disagree. And it's important to remember that as intimidating as hate and rage and anger can feel, they are all simply outward manifestations of something we can all relate to, which is fear. It's fear that drives some of the worst things human beings are capable of doing to one another. Ask any brain scientist about fear, and they will say it clouds judgment, it warps emotions, and it makes you impulsive. It makes people hateful and quick to judge and slow to empathize with one another. The opposite of love is hate, it's fear. And the magic answer to fear, even when it's manifesting as hate or anger or aggression, is another simple thing called love. I love what Jumani had to say about love and Brooklyn and Biggie. Yes, I'm aware that I sound really kind of corny when I appeal to love. But that's only if you think love is easy, and it's not. The real test of love is whether you can feel it for someone you don't like. That's hard. If you can find a way to be more curious more often than you're angry, if you can find a way to be more empathic than bitter, if you can find a way to have more questions than answers, more humility than certainty, more love than fear, you won't magically suddenly agree about everything, but you will be less quick to describe the person you're talking to as bad or evil. Lead with love, and you won't always be cool, you won't always be popular, maybe you'll never be cool or popular, but you will always be right. Thank you.
In Colombia, my home country, I was a commercial and maritime lawyer, seeking justice and professional growth. But I wanted something more for my personal and family's story. So around 7 years ago, I came to the United States with my husband, who is my best friend, my 2 daughters, who are the energy that I need every day to keep moving forward. And I also came with many dreams, illusions, and lots of fears. I started at LaGuardia Community College in 2020 at the English Language Center in the C building. Then I transferred to the Business Administration program in 2022. Since 2020 until today, many things happened. Sadly, the COVID pandemic took my mother's life, and I didn't have the chance to go back to Colombia to bury her and say goodbye. I couldn't get any financial aid. I wasn't allowed to work off campus or even get a full-time job. And I had to commute almost every day from where I live in Nassau County to LaGuardia. However, none of these situations were obstacles in my life. They were just challenges to overcome, which made me stronger and wiser when managing precious resources like time and planning. And I can't thank enough the LaGuardia Foundation, because without its support, I wouldn't be here today, keeping a 3.9 GPA. My mother told me, study, because by studying, you will stop being poor, and you will go very far. I believe in those words, and I repeat them not only to my daughters, but also to my students as a Spanish tutor and as a student success mentor. And I also repeat them to my friends in the International Students Club, where I am a co-founder. Well, this is part of what I have learned, lived, and taught at LaGuardia. But today, it's not about me. Today, it's about us, and it's just the beginning. Today is our day, a day that marks our stories. Today, we are rewriting our family's history. Many of us will transfer to a 4-year college. Some others will get a new job, and others maybe will take a break. In any case, there is at least one thing that we all have in common. We all want a brilliant and successful future, and surely we will have it. But remember, although it is not easy, difficulties are not obstacles. They are just challenges to make you wiser and stronger. Whenever you get that successful future, remember where you come from. Remember you come from LaGuardia Community College. Remember the LaGuardia Foundation and its scholarships, President's Society, LaGuardia Cares, Campus Life, Casa de las Americas, Student Government Association, the clubs, PTK, and more programs and services that you used or were part of. Remember your classmates' stories and yourself at LaGuardia. Remember, LaGuardia is there just to serve students. Today, we are leaving LaGuardia, but many others are yet to come, maybe with the same illusions, dreams, and fears that we had when we started. Whenever you get that successful future, whenever that brilliant future knocks on your door, remember this day. Remember where you come from, because that will be the time to give back a little bit of what the place you come from did for you. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2024.
Baruch changed the trajectory of my entire life. It didn't just set up to create the career I have today, but it's the career I've always dreamt of. And I found my people here too. Those passions and the people who supported me taught me some important lessons, lessons that continue to serve me well. So today, class, I would like to share 3 of them, from one Baruch alum to another Baruch alum. First, make grit your greatest asset. Let me illustrate with a quick story. You heard before, I'm a diehard Mets fan. I grew up playing softball, and by the way, being a Mets fan gives you grit in itself. But I grew up playing softball, and still today I play on a women's team and I play first base in my free time. And growing up, I discovered a lot about who I was and who I wanted to be on that softball field. I learned that I didn't need to be the fastest or the strongest player on the team to be a leader. I learned that I'd have those days, those awful days, where I'd watch teammates hit home runs while I was sitting there striking out. And I learned that the most valuable players on the team aren't always the ones who had the natural talent or would never drop the ball. The most valuable players were the ones who were determined to win at all costs. And I had to remind myself of these lessons while I was in school and early in my career. Like when I was frustrated that my peers who followed a more linear track were getting further and faster. It didn't seem at the time like they faced the same barriers I did. But I can assure you, in softball and in life, there is no limit to how many times a player can strike out. There's always another chance to step up to the plate, to learn from failure, to eventually succeed. And that, fellow alum, that's grit. Grit is not something you're born with or something that could be handed to you. Grit is forged through perseverance and earned through resilience. In retrospect, I realized I wasn't the only one who had to get crafty. You never know what someone else is dealing with behind the scenes or how many hurdles they've jumped over to get where they are now. This is especially true at a school like Baruch, where many of us traveled long distances or worked multiple jobs to pursue our passions. Back in the day, I lived in Long Island when I went here. This meant for me waking up at 4 a.m. to catch a train to the city. Then I'd spend the entire day working at a small accounting firm to then walk down to Baruch for my night classes, stand in line for those elevators and the raised pizza. Oh, and wait in line again for the elevators. Well, then you could find me at a bar at Penn Station late at night doing my homework before catching the train home. Many of you may be thinking, wow, that sounds familiar. Like you, I was determined to do whatever it took to start the next chapter of my life. At the beginning and the end of long days like these, it's easy to feel alone. Like we're the only ones brushing the dirt off our hands and stepping back up to that plate. But the truth is that, especially here, we're in it together. We are more united than divided. We're blessed with a special opportunity to be part of a community that can relate to our challenges and lift us up when those times get tough. When we offer other people understanding instead of judgment, we become more empathetic, learn about someone else's experiences and perspectives, and build stronger relationships with one another. In other words, we get more out of life. All of you, all of us, have grit from all the things you've navigated to get here and from your time at Baruch. And that grit is what will give you the traction to dig in and take the next step forward. And trust me, in the world we're in, Grit is needed more now than ever. Let your grit be your superpower, and never, ever, ever forget it's your greatest asset. Now, my second lesson. While we're speaking about building relationships, I want you to have the courage to seek guidance and inspiration from others who don't sound, think, or look like you. Baruch is known for its incredible diversity, and that diversity is truly one of its greatest gifts. For me, my time here is highlighted with diversity. English was a second language for many of my fellow classmates. My classes in the hallways were filled with unique perspectives and different lived experiences. We came together and learned from one another. We learned from our differences. It truly was an inclusive place. And now, just look around at your fellow graduates. That same incredible diversity exists today, and in this regard, Baruch is like no other college or university. It is incredibly special. Whether you realize it or not, being part of this rich diversity has made you a better person. My time at Baruch certainly made me a better person. And when we're exposed to different viewpoints, diverse viewpoints, we become more innovative, effective, and productive leaders in our communities and in our workplaces. We unearth problems we may not have seen otherwise. We create solutions that are positively and equitably impact those around us. And on the flip side, when we devalue and deprioritize diversity, we all lose. So, if you come across or find yourself in an environment that isn't very diverse, have the courage and make it a habit to speak up and say that these spaces don't reflect our society. And as you pursue your own passions, asking for advice from people with different experiences, and absolutely seeking out dissenting views from your own is vital. And please make sure to thank those people as well. And right now, I want all of you to look around and acknowledge the friends, family members, colleagues, and professors who you've leaned in on for guidance and inspiration. And now I'm going to give you your first homework assignment for the day, even though you thought you were done. Either now or later, I want you to drop a note to one of those people, thanking them and picking a select moment where they said something to you that still sticks with you. I have many, many of those memories from my time here at Baruch. Not only will this make you feel better, but it will also make those individuals feel confident to continue to share those diverse views and push you to be even better. And to my own family, friends, and colleagues that are here in the audience, I see you now, and those who aren't, I want to thank you for supporting me every step of the way. I couldn't have done it without you. And now, last but not least, lesson number 3. Don't be afraid to keep learning and keep evolving. The person you were when you enrolled at Baruch and the person you are now are very, very different. And that's a good thing. A lot can and will change over the course of 4 years. Who our president is, the technology we use, the trends we wear. I may be overly generous talking about myself, but my braces and my mismatched pantsuits I wore when I first started Deloitte, I'm not sure those were trends, but, well, you get my point. Change is a testament to the quality of education, variety of experience Baruch provides, and it's a testament to the kinds of people you surround yourself with too. We're always learning from our environments and the people around us. And that process doesn't stop after graduation. So, instead of resisting change, lean into it. I had to lean into change during my early years in my career, when I used to think that great leaders were the ones who only focused on results. As a young leader, I was so results-driven that I didn't take the time to think about how my approach impacted other people on my team. I soon realized that wasn't the kind of leader I wanted to be, and I course-corrected. I told my teammates how I planned to change, and I gave them space to speak their minds. Being vulnerable, it was uncomfortable. It usually is. But it enabled me to grow into the leader I am now. Growth can be scary, but we need to embrace. We need to embrace growth to be the best versions of ourselves. Because when we allow ourselves to grow, we give our passions and dreams space to grow too. And as our world continues to evolve, it's important to hold on to the lesson we've learned from our most formative experiences in life. That includes the ones you've developed right here at Baruch. These lessons, making grit your greatest asset, having the courage to seek guidance and inspiration from those who bring diverse viewpoints in yours, and bravely embracing the process of learning and evolving will help all of you reach your highest potential, keep you motivated on your path forward to accomplishing your dreams. So, after commencement and a well-earned graduation set of parties, I encourage you to find some time for yourself to reflect on the past few years and ask yourselves, what lessons did I learn? How will I use them? And who will I share them with? And now, homework assignment number 2, fellow alum. Please think about somebody who would benefit from hearing a lesson from you, who you see potential in maybe a way they don't see in themselves, who you want to have either sitting in these seats or in other rooms where it happens, and send them a note and impart your wisdom and what you've learned on them and help them be a better person like you are. Do it now or do it later, but please know you have the ability to pay it forward. And best of luck, class of 2024. I am so proud of you, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish next.
I was born during the Great War in the Mississippi Delta into a family of sharecroppers. Everybody picked cotton. My daddy had a 4th grade education, but went to the war and served in England and in France. He drove a supply truck, a very dangerous job. And after the war, he could no longer live in the South. In Europe, he had fought against fascism and for democracy. And he had tasted freedom. When he returned from the war, the North beckoned with both freedom and jobs. And he found work in the foundry of the Studebaker plant in South Bend, Indiana, where I grew up and attended school, university, and became a professor. But I've learned over time not to take myself too seriously. I'm reminded of that every now and then. In fact, my granddaughter and I had a conversation the other night. She'd come home from school, and I said to her, "Soleil, tell me about school today." And I began to interview her about school. She's 3 years old, you know. And after about 5 minutes, she said to me, Pop, can you stop talking to me?" I said, "Why?" "I'm bored." So you realize that kind of put in your place a bit, you become humble. She knew. On a more serious note, my dad faced great challenges, and he did the best to meet them. And on his deathbed, he told me, he said, "I did the best I knew. I did the best I knew." Today, along with your fellow citizens of the world, you and your classmates face a distinct and tremendous challenge. Let me explain. To paraphrase Thomas Paine, these are the times that try men's souls. I should say, try our souls. The next election will be an epical choice between autocracy and democracy. And the battle lines are being drawn daily. At the end of the last presidential election, the peaceful transfer of power was challenged for the first time in our 248-year history. An insurrection at the Capitol followed, and people died. I can hear the haunting cry of Officer Fanon on that fateful day on the Capitol grounds. "I got kids. I got kids." And with that, the mob let him be. Well, I got kids, I got grandkids and sisters and brothers and nieces and nephews and dear friends. And I worry about the future. Over the past 3.5 years, the insurrection continues to unfold as charges and trials mount. Now, major politicians say they will not accept the outcome of the next election unless they win. Unless they win. That is un-American. In this election season, propaganda is rampant. Loud and shameless mendacity is heard in the land. Congress appears increasingly dysfunctional, and the Supreme Court is roiled by political division. Will the guardrails of our democracy hold in 2024 as they did in 2020? Will most voters swallow the big lie and reelect the former president? Threatened by political violence? Will our democracy end in dictatorship? This is where we are right now, and the stakes could not be higher. If fascism happens here in America, what will that look like? Do you want to live and raise your families under fascism? In this environment, what happens to our news and its sources? What will your degrees be worth What happens to the economy? What happens to the stock market? Commencement speakers are expected to reassure graduates that the future, their future, looks bright. Regrettably, I can't promise you that. And you know why. But many Americans are oblivious, currently ignoring this threat, perhaps at our peril. Others are engaged, educating themselves and others about this most critical moment in our history. Please be aware. Seek reliable information from trusted sources and vote. In the face of this ongoing crisis, stay positive, steadfast, but stand firm and resolute in your support of our communities. Look out for the less fortunate and be kind to the next person. God bless you, and good luck, class of 2024.
I just want to recognize what a privilege it is to be speaking in front of you today, and it's not one that I take lightly. I have been constantly inspired by your resilience, your passion and drive, by the beautiful keffiyeh that I see decorating some of us in the crowd today. Your resistance is beautiful. I was inspired every time you showed up to class completely exhausted after a day at work, a night studying, taking care of your families, often a combination of all three. As BMCC students, we are not strangers to sacrifice, hard work, and struggle. So as we sit here today with loved ones, friends, and faculty, everyone who has helped us arrive at this point today, I'd like to take another moment to thank our community for its support. I generally find it difficult to talk about myself, but my hope is that some aspects of my story will resonate with yours. My grandmother was the only literate person in her village in Guangzhou, China, and was known as the person to come to when her neighbors needed to write a letter. Like many of us here today, my mom is a first-generation immigrant, the first person in her family to graduate from college, and a BMCC graduate. My father is another CUNY alum who went to York College, and he wants me to tell you that he was on the dean's list, so, okay. I grew up in my parents' laundry business and saw firsthand how hard they had to work to support me, but they always told me to do what I loved. They never pressured me, but I still felt a responsibility to pay their sacrifices forward. But when you live with that responsibility, when you only keep your head down to your work, it can be easy to get tunnel vision, for your world to become smaller and smaller. I planned on attending art school after graduating high school, but by then my world felt so small I could barely see in front of me, let alone imagine my future. Then, as many of us experienced, the pandemic derailed all of my plans and left me more isolated than ever. In my case, graduating in a small apartment without high school teachers or classmates. BMCC, as it was for many of us, is where I first sought out community and connection again. Something as small as raising my hand in class at least expanded my reach by an arm's length. Discussing film in a professor's office hours or showing up to the cinema arts or animation club slowly eased me back into life as a student and as a human being. By showing up, whether I was frightened or not 100% prepared, I learned how important it was to remove the emotional armor I had created for myself. Learning to talk about my fear and live alongside it has led to the most rewarding experiences of my life, many of them at BMCC alongside all of you. As we graduate, I know we are entering a world where much will be demanded from us. It's a lot of pressure Still, I hope we can hold on to an openness to new experiences without fear of failure. I hope we all find ways to push ourselves just an inch further away from our routines until we find ourselves miles farther than we imagined we could go. I hope that when our world starts to feel small, when it becomes too easy to imagine that we face our struggles alone, that the barriers and divisions all around us have always existed and always will, that we are able to look up and recognize the powers of our communities, because it's our voice, our action, our collective movement that will shape the world we live in. So congratulations again, VMCC graduate.